Persepolis was once the ceremonial capital of the great Persian Empire of the Achaemenid kings. It was built in the 6th and the 5th centuries BC, in a time when the Persian Empire was the largest in the world, spanning from the Balkans in Eastern Europe to the Indus Valley in modern-day Pakistan. Stay tuned to find more about the history of this place and why it's worth visiting it today. But first, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos. Persepolis is derived from ancient Greek. Persepolis, a compound of Persis and Polis, meaning the Persian city or the city of the Persians. To the ancient Persians, the city was known as Parsa, which is also the word for the region of Persia. Persepolis was built in a region with irregular terrain on a large artificial terrace. This terrace is located on the Marvdasht plain at the foot of Mount Kuch-e-Rahmat, 50 kilometers northeast of the modern city of Shiraz and 80 kilometers south of the capital of Cyrus the Great, Pasargadae. Archaeological evidence shows that the earliest remains of Persepolis date back to 515 BC, and it is believed that Darius I was the emperor who built the terrace and the palaces. Inscriptions on these buildings support the belief that they were constructed by Darius. Persepolis probably became the capital of Persia during his reign. However, the city's location in a remote and mountainous region made it an inconvenient residence for the rulers of the empire. The country's true capitals were Susa, Babylon, and Ecbatana. In spite of not being one of the largest cities in Persia, Persepolis appears to have been a grand ceremonial complex that was only occupied seasonally. Most archaeologists held that it was especially used for celebrating Nowruz, the Persian New Year. The Iranian nobility and the tributary parts of the empire came to present gifts to the king, as represented in the stairway reliefs. The city was occupied by the army of Alexander the Great in 330 BC. Alexander allowed his troops to loot Persepolis, and the historic sources say that around that time a fire burned the palaces or the palace. It is believed that the fire which destroyed Persepolis started from Hadish Palace, which was the living quarters of Xerxes I, and spread to the rest of the city. It is not clear if the fire was an accident or a deliberate act of revenge for the burning of the Acropolis of Athens during the Second Persian invasion of Greece. Many historians argue that while Alexander's army celebrated with a symposium, they decided to take revenge against the Persians. If that is so, then the destruction of Persepolis could be both an accident and a case of revenge. In 316 BC, Persepolis was still the capital of Persia as a province of the Great Macedonian Empire. About 200 BC, the city of Estakhr, 5 kilometers north of Persepolis, was the seat of the local governors. From there, the foundations of the Second Great Persian Empire were laid, and there Estakhr acquired special importance as the center of priestly wisdom and orthodoxy. After the Muslim conquest of Persia, Estakhr was still a place of considerable importance in the 1st century of Islam, although its greatness was speedily eclipsed by the new metropolis of Shiraz. During the following centuries, Estakhr gradually declined until it ceased to exist as a city. In 1474, Josaphat Barbaro visited the ruins of Persepolis, which he incorrectly thought were of Jewish origin. In 1618, Garcia de Silva Figueroa, the Spanish ambassador to the court of Abbas I, the Safavid monarch, was the first Western traveler to link the site known in Iran as Chehel Minar as the site known from classical authors as Persepolis. Pietro della Valle visited Persepolis in 1621 and noticed that only 25 of the 72 original columns were still standing due to either vandalism or natural processes. In the 1800s, a variety of amateur digging occurred at the site, in some cases on a large scale. The first scientific excavations at Persepolis were carried out by Ernst Herzfeld and Erich Schmidt, representing the Oriental Institute of the University of Chicago. They conducted excavations for 8 seasons, beginning in 1930, and included other nearby sites. Today, ruins of a number of colossal buildings exist on the terrace, all constructed of dark grey marble. 15 of their pillars stand intact, and 3 more pillars have been re-erected since 1970. The largest building in Persepolis is the Apadana Hall, with 72 columns, 25 meters high. Its eastern stairs are famous for its representation of the people of the empire. The hall could contain hundreds, probably thousands of people at the same time. To the north of the Apatana are the Gate of All Nations, with its name referring to subjects of the empire. It consisted of a grand hall that was a square of approximately 25 meters in length, with 4 columns and its entrance on the western wall. The grand staircases and remaining colonnades of Tachara Palace, which is the oldest, but also the smallest palace, are among the most intact parts. The hall of 100 columns, also known as the Throne Hall, once stood with towering wooden pillars, but the only evidence of them which remains at present is the stone bases. This 70 by 70 square meter hall is the second largest building in Persepolis and was started by Xerxes I and completed by his son Artaxerxes I. The Imperial Treasury is located in the southeastern corner of the site. In the treasury were stored the booty of the conquered tribes and states and the annual tribute of the king's loyal subjects. When Alexander looted the treasury, it's reported that he needed 3,000 camels to cart off the contents. The Hadish Palace of Xerxes I occupies the highest level of terrace and stands on the living rock. The Council Hall, the Tripleon Hall, storerooms, stables and quarters, the unfinished gateway and a few miscellaneous structures at Persepolis are located near the southeast corner of the terrace at the foot of the mountain. In 1971, Persepolis was the main staging ground for the 2,500-year celebration of the Persian Empire under the reign of the Pahlavi dynasty. It included delegations from foreign nations in an attempt to advance the Iranian culture and history. UNESCO declared the ruins of Persepolis a World Heritage Site in 1979. So, if you go to Iran, make sure you pay a visit to the magnificent Persepolis. I hope you enjoyed our video. If you want to see more interesting videos, help our channel to grow by pressing the like button and share our videos with your friends. And if you are the first time here, don't forget to subscribe.